guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we have the book called King of the Blood and Battle by Scarlett and Clair. So obviously you see that I have changed the world of what I like to read now. I've gone into more of the adult fantasy, so this is more smexy time stuff in here. This is deals with vampires, and I'm like, that's up my alley right now. I love changing stuff up, so this is definitely something different than I normally would read. So obviously I bought this myself. I did not get this in the box because apparently it was going to be in a fairy box, but then we realised it's an adult box, an adult book, but it's not going to be in there, so that is okay. So let's get into this, because let's just say this is also the author who does the A Touch of Darkness series, I believe, as well. So, this is the front cover with 2 swords and roses, is blood, what do you expect? And then we have this. I think that's Adrian. The Adrian who held me now carried his eyes, age within his eyes, which were burdened by heartbreak, and I was wondering if that was what had made this man a monster. Sorry. Sorry if I say this wrong. Isolde de Lara considers her wedding day to her death day. To end a years-long war and protect the people of her kingdom, she is married the vampire king, Adrian Alexandra Vadsling, and kill him. I don't know if I said that right, but I do apologise. But her assassination attempt is thought, and Adrian warns that if she tries to kill him again, he will raise her as the undead, faced with the possibility of becoming the thing that she hates most. She seeks other ways to define him and survive the violence and mechanics of Adrian's brutal vampire court, except if it's the choice she ends up fearing the most is Adrian and his intense attraction to him. Wrapped in mystery, oh my god, and a past he refuses to discuss, Adrian nevertheless starts to become less of a monster to her. Despite her undeniable chemistry, she can't help but wonder why the king, fierce, complicated, ambitious at times, his tender, chose her as a consort. The answer will shatter her world. So if you can like hit everything more, I have actually tried this new mic that I've got at the moment, and we're seeing how that goes. And it's quite, it was well, I'm going as much as I can, so you might hear more things of me speaking. So before I get more into this, let's go on to these. So we got this little rant. So I'm starting slowly doing this again, so go through the book, because sometimes if I'm reading the book I will put stuff down. If I'm listening to it on Audible, I don't really put anything down. They are fast, they will control your mind and drink your blood. You will not survive. If you do, you wish for death. As I was reading this book, I got a bit of humour in there. Obviously, there's a bit of danger, a bit of romance, it's everything. And I'm like, yes. We have moon above and earth below. Bring my love stars that glow. Far past midnight, shadows sneak. Bring my love dreams that speak. I was like, oh, that's cute. For most people don't like that. I think you want to kill me, but if that's the case, I should warn you now that any attempt will be with my wrath. That's when she tried to kill him, stuff like that. So it's funny where she attacked someone and the other vampire was like, that's your own fault for not surprising that she had a weapon on her. I was like, you just got told, mate. Then we have another bit of, and when the snow falls on the ground, I come, my love, and I come on down. Down from the mountains and into the town where our love was found. I was like, oh, that's cute. Too. But this book is definitely something I'd love to read more, and I can't wait to read more of Scarlett. Stuff like that. So again, I'm not really much someone who reads much of smutty romance, but this book really sounded good, and I just loved it. I don't know if you can see much of it because it's really folded, but the book really sounded really good and I couldn't resist. I knew what I was in for because when I picked it up, the cover was like, yes, I love it. And then I read the synopsis, yes, I love it even more. So obviously like I said, I had to buy this online because obviously I didn't manage to get it in time for any of them. So this is an adult fantasy romance. It follows a princess called, I can't say her name very well, but I do apologise. It's Isolde, when her country is ended by the vampire king, Adrian, agrees to be his wife for the sake of ending the upcoming war. She assumes she fears him, but she's soon more scared of how attracted she is to him and her growing understanding of vampires that she is anything else. So I'm going to start talking about what I love, right? What the world? There isn't a amount of detail, but I really want to know more. But like, there's where I think it's so strong you get a hint of this world that sounds completely fascinating. And there are hints of this fascinating history, like all the different types of vampires. So that she pulled from different multiple vampire legends from around the world, and I think that's amazing, and why not? There were all these types of vampires that I didn't know, and that was literally so fun to read about, knowing these different things. I'm not going to tell you any of them because I need to try and stop spoiling stuff as well, because that's kind of hard. So it was meant that vampires aren't everything you expect them to be, and the main characters often follow these kind of stereotypes. So she also mentioned, the author also mentioned that studying Vlad the Impaler for this, I could definitely see hints of that too, but not necessarily in the way that you expect them to. I don't want to go into the details, like I said, don't want to go to spoilers. Try not to. But I definitely shifted to of how I felt about these characters. There is the reincarnation storyline too. I love a good reincarnation story. I love it in anything, any like movies, series, animes, literally any reincarnations are really quite fun to read and listen to. It's not properly revealed until the end, but I did much guess that it was what was going on. And I enjoyed the way it was done. Though as well. I explained away some of the early issues I had, which was the book that I felt a little insta-romancy. No backstory, that's no longer an issue anymore. That's a good thing as well. If you enjoy like a lot of smut, then this is a book definitely for you. And I was like, it got steamy, okay, guys. It got steamy. And if you don't like too much stuff like myself, I promise that you still like to love it too, even with all the sexy time. I still struggle to put the book down. The characters and the backstory is just interesting enough for me that I really want to keep reading. It surprised me how much I enjoyed this book, and I'm looking forward to reading book 2 now for sure. Which, yes, I only found out literally about 2 weeks ago there was going to be a second book. And I was like, excuse me? Hello? There's a lot of books I have on my shelf that are going to have a second book, and I did not realise. So those second books won't be out till I won't be getting them till like next year. They're going to be in my list, and I've got a long list of books already that I want to get myself. So I have to try and get those books now. But I'm very slow at reading, so let's go. I got a mark to go for. If you really like this book, then you better go for it, guys, because I feel like this was such a good book to read. Like I said, if you like, you know, the fantasy, the smart, the vampires, the romance, you go for this book, guys, because it was, I freaking loved it. Tell you the truth. 4 out of 5 stars, guys. 4 out of 5 stars. Love it. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time for the next book. Peace. Bye.